Rule number 5 says never ask your dog to perform a task which he mentally understands but physically cannot accomplish. If you want to have any kind of mental progress with your dog, never forget that he is limited by size and physical makeup. Never think Great Dane if you have a miniature poodle, or you're quite apt to give your dog an inferiority complex. I'm not saying that the little dog is any less capable of thinking or accomplishing, but what he can do is in accordance with his size and physical abilities. Learn to place yourself on your dog's level when determining his attractions and distractions. I remember an appearance on the Mike Douglas TV show. Mike asked Hobo, one of my dogs, to place an object in the wastebasket. When he gave it to him, he shoved it too deep in Hobo's mouth. Hobo, about to cough from the tickle, dropped the object on a chair, then went over to the wastebasket and put a foot on it, indicating what he was supposed to have done. I'm sure the action went over the heads of most of the people who were watching, but knowing Hobo, I gave him another object and merely asked what Mike had told him to do with it. He immediately went over and put it in the wastebasket. Mentally, he knew what Mike had asked, yet declined the request because he would have never gotten as far as the wastebasket without having to drop the object, so he placed it on the chair. When training your dog to the 5 fundamental sounds, don't ever go beyond the comfortable bounds of the dog's physical capabilities. If it is a sound stand-up you want him to do, be sure the object is firm, skid-proof, not too high, and that the floor is not waxed. If you're trying to get him to hold it, be sure, among other things, that the object is comfortable in his mouth and doesn't have an offensive odor. When he hears "stay there," be positive his feet are not on hot pavement, sharp rocks, an anthill, or any other uncomfortable object. All have a bearing on getting him to do what you want. Lance, one of my dogs, is about 2 inches taller than Hobo. I asked Lance to open the filing cabinet. He went over and grabbed the handle with his teeth. His method was a little awkward, but since he chose the method, I didn't contest it. I then asked Hobo, and he opened it with his foot. Returning to Lance, I asked him to duplicate what Hobo had just done. Try as he did, he had a very difficult time because his 2 inches of additional height placed his foot above the handle, and when he managed to get the foot on the handle, it bound the drawer. He whined, looked at me, and then opened the top drawer with his teeth. Ever since, I've made it a point to go down to a dog's level before asking him to do something where there could be a doubt of accomplishment. Being positive means being sure, and we find that it will take a lot of thought on your part to know what is hindering your dog's advancement. I look back at a scene from one of the Littlest Hobo TV segments. Toro, a very tall and lengthy dog, was doing most of the work. The scene called for him to run behind a camper truck and then jump in while it was moving. He would run after it, but never make the jump. After the 3rd unsuccessful take, I called in Thorne, a very short performer. Traveling at 15 miles per hour, he made the run and jump on the first take. It was my job to find out why Toro wouldn't do it, so I asked the driver to work with me. I asked him to up his speed to 18 miles per hour. Toro never even hesitated, running and jumping the first time. At 15 miles per hour, he had to alter his normal gait and would have hurt himself if he had tried to make a leap while adjusting his gait. Don't ever gauge a dog's physical capacities by another dog's or by your own guesswork. Know them. A dog knows his limitations, and it's up to you to take his word for it.